Hey guys, it's Dylan here with Dylan's Adventures and Projects YouTube channel, and today I'm going to show you how to build a router stand slash cabinet for your Bosch RA1181. Now this one I've already got the router mounted inside the table. This is brand new. The only thing that it lacks is the actual stand, so you can stand up. It's tall enough to run your boards through. So this cabinet, it needs a latch, so don't judge me on that. But I've got the European mounted jigs and then a completely open space. I decided to not mount a shelf on this one so I could have more space inside. I didn't want the restrictions of a shelf. I could have put adjustable latches on it, but I decided not to do that with this one. And then I got the 6.5 inch casters down on the bottom. You can completely free spin, just like so. And then you can push it in the corner, and it's got locks on all of the casters. And it's completely coated in polyurethane. And then I can just kind of push it wherever I want. Alright guys, keep watching for more. We're gonna make our first cut of one sheet of plywood. Oh, it's kind of crooked, to be honest. I just realized you can't make a full cut of plywood inside this trailer, so I'm just gonna push it outside and try to get it cut over here. I'll leave the camera facing this way. So these are my measurements so far. It needs to be 20.75 inches tall, and I need 30, well, we'll just cut the 30.116, 30 and 1/16, and 19 and 1/16. The router is 15 inches tall. This will be 20.75. The wheels are 6.25, and we have a goal of 42 inches. I'm gonna cut this at 30 and 1/16, and then we can cut it in half at 20.75, and we'll get both sides, the front and back. Oh, wait a minute, I don't need to do that. Well, you know what? I'm gonna do that. We're gonna end up cutting that out. Holy moly. First full sheet of plywood. Don't ever do that again. Another reason why I need my sawhorses. I really need a couple stands with rollers on them. That wasn't an acceptable cut. I screwed up both sides. And not only that, I just realized this sheet of wood is severely damaged. Not because of what I did, that's how I bought it and I didn't notice. It looks like somebody ran it over. It's messed up that I bought that. It seriously is. I am going to measure this and see if I can cut the edge off of it and then clean it up. These sheets aren't even 4 inches wide and they're messed up on all the corners and edges. I got my front and back cuts, 20.75 by, should be 30 and 1/16. Yeah, perfect. Dang, a nice table saw. Just can't cut full sheets. And I ended up cutting off the ran over part. I mean, that's not super nice, but at least these two are cut well. I'm not gonna lie, that's an unacceptable way to cut a piece of wood. Hands down. Not only that, this is the wrong size. Oh, because I put the wrong measurement in. 19 and a 16. I mean, it came out pretty straight. It was just the wrong measurement. So what side looks better? Probably gonna use that side. Should be good. Double check. It was 19 and a 16th. Yeah, perfect. I messed up the one side. That was just because that sheet was too heavy. No, they're coming out perfect. I almost got confused. Yeah, because it's gonna be 20.7 inches tall. So that's not very big at all. I need to cut this again. 20.75. So let's see which one's my worst side. That's a nice looking side. What does this side look like? The corner's messed up a little bit. I'll cut that off. There's another one. Alright, I was worried about that one. It came out pretty good. Really good. Got that knot right there. Dang, I'd say that'd be my inside, but it might be not. I mean, I do need to sand it. That would be best. 20.75 by 19 and a quarter. Cuts are good. So that'll be my box. I really need to measure out the top and bottom. So I'm gonna do that and then maybe try to find a cut for that. This is gonna be another heavy cut. Alright, so that was 30 and a 16th, and I need to make my 19 and a 16th inch cut. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna run my router. I'm scared I'm gonna mess this up. I already got my router measured out up to spec. I tried it out on a different piece of plywood and it worked. I gave it the 16th extra that it needed so it would have those tight corners. Let's give it a try. See what happens. Alright guys, so in this next transition, you're going to see me jump from my router to my table saw. And at this point in time, I'm not able to calibrate my router with that 45-degree bevel exactly how I wanted it. Later on in the video, you'll see me calibrate the router inside the stand exactly how I need it. This time I'm going to be moving forward and making my 45-degree cuts with the table saw.
That's how confident they are. And right now, Blinds.com is running Black Friday deals all over to see what they've got going on today. And as always,
Yeah, I should have cut these together, but not a humongous deal. I can resize it.
I think I do like. I just feel lucky something that I realized was super important to me because. Disarmament chief confirmed there's no evidence of. Officials had stated
18 and 15 sixteenths.
substantiated by independent sources or Chinese Foreign Ministry and various conspiracy labs and noting that the pathogens and documents cited by Russia are consistent with public health research. That's the whole original BBC saying it. Well, we just found out the BBC's full of shit. Real, you know, at our level of just like being a consumer. You get radicalized, just be kind to people. Yeah. It's all dependent upon what do you cool cars people are building. That's most of it. Fights, pool matches, professional pool matches. So, like, why is your algorithm fucked up?
So we're gonna do these. The first two that I cut are gonna be the sides. So those sides that I did them independently when I should have been doing them together as a set. I messed up and I actually cut a 1/16 of an inch off more than I needed on the width wise, and I cut off 1/8 of an inch more than I needed to cut off on the height. I'm going to have to at least match the height with these. The width would be okay because those two match. Now these two need a match because this is going to be the base. The other two that I'm going to start next, which I'm going to cut as a pair as well, are actually going to be the top and bottom. And I will have to match, if I lose any width off of those two, which I did, because I just said I did, I'll have to make the adjustments for that as well on this other set. So we'll do that whenever we get there. But as far as this goes, I'm going to make sure one cut is perfected on both of these on one side, and then we'll transition over to the opposite side and make the cut exactly where we need it on that side, and then we could just follow through with a measurement made on the second board. So that should be okay. Just wanted to announce that I screwed up. Not a big deal. Measure, measure, measure again, and we just need to make the adjustments before we start putting all this together because it's gonna get messed up. I just know it is whenever we start gluing this stuff together, because not only am I gonna glue it, I'm probably gonna nail it together as well. I wanna sand it and then potentially, well, I will polyurethane it, but I can't completely close it until I have my wheels on. So we'll see what happens whenever we get there. So let's do this one. We need to figure out which side is going to be the better side. Obviously this is a side that got ran over, that was pointing out earlier. I don't know what the heck happened. It looks like someone hit it with the forks on a forklift maybe, or maybe like a pallet jack ran it over, got stuck underneath it and squashed it. Man, I wish I would have caught that whenever I bought this wood, but no big deal. We'll just push forward with it like that. Let's make this cut. That side looks good. We need to measure out this next side.
Everybody's all hugging everybody backstage.
Let me take a measurement. Maybe this wasn't squared up before whenever I cut it. It's the same length on both sides. You can tell that's how much off the cut got. So I'm gonna actually have to make this one shorter in order for this corner to seat up with the other one. So I'm gonna cut another 1/4 inch off of it, I guess. You're kidding. Is this messed up that bad because this is off? So I almost made a mistake and cut off a 1/4, not a 1/4. I almost made a mistake and cut off 1/8 of an inch more than I really needed. This board is actually bowed 1/8 of an inch. I just wasn't holding it flat because the board is so badly bent. You know what? I have nice pieces of plywood that I paid $50 a sheet for, and I paid, what was it, like 20 to 30 bucks for this cheaper plywood. And I was thinking, oh, I might mess up the project. I'm just gonna use the cheaper plywood. And I just bought a bad piece. I guess that's why it was cheaper. It was so badly messed up. All right, so now that I know, I'm glad I didn't cut off 1/8 inch more than I needed. If I have to, absolutely have to, I'll make adjustments later. But for now, I need to cut the other side. Let's do this next one. Say those should match up. What is it, 29 and 15/16? So what the original cut was for 30 inches and a 1/16, and we are at 29 and 15/16. So we lost 1/8 of an inch off of the original projection of the cut that I needed. Well, technically I added a 1/16, so we really just lost a 1/16 because I projected losing a 1/16 when I should have projected losing an 1/8. The blade is 1/8 of an inch. I knew that, but that's what it was. Yeah, I messed up. It's okay though. We'll just make the adjustments because I actually added 1.5 inches to that beforehand. So I added an inch and an inch and a half plus a 1/16 of an inch. I think we should be okay. We'll see what happens. So now we need to do the sides.
It's billions of years old. It's going.
Alright, that side's good.
Something small, something like that. Things like that all the time. Yeah, that's what I was I wonder what they're stuck there. Kurt Russell.
Good job. Nice and clean, right?
So they think. I don't know how they know this, but whatever they know.
Way better. Hey, wait, you missed a spot. Look at that. Oh my
Whoever
god.
2,000 years ago made this fucking house.
What am I paying you for? Getting dark out here. I just cut my last piece. Well, not my last piece. I didn't do the top or bottom yet. because I want to put the sides together and then do my measurements and then make sure it seats down in the right spot. I'm trying to put the sides together right now, and those clamps aren't helping me at all. Those are for flush mounts, flush mounted wood, and I cut 45-degree angles off of each side so the corners would line up but you wouldn't see the seams. I was trying to make it really nice, and I'm at the point to where I just need to hold it down and then glue it and staple it, but I kind of started moving quicker than I really should have because I don't have my glue or staples ready to go. I'm gonna go find my glue and then staples and nail gun and all that stuff and just get it over here and see if I want to keep going or call it a day. You can't even see out there anymore. It's so dark. Nothing going on out there. I haven't used this glue in a while. Oh, this is bad. Well, alright. I'll get some more. Alright, let's try this. We're just doing this on the floor. Too much is okay. Not enough is not okay. What I need to do is line these up. Oh boy, that's not really lining up like it really should be. Whee! Woof! That ain't too bad. Corner went together pretty well. At least it lined up right there. It's not at a complete 90, but it ain't, it's a little off. Let's see if we can get the other side on. Alright. Alright, that's quite a bit. Looks pretty good. Looks decent. It's no fine woodworking, but it's okay. I'm not disappointed in myself yet. So, this next one, not disappointed yet. Should have glued that side first. Alrighty. Not bad. Good job, guys. Couldn't have done it without you. Not perfect. I mean, there's some gaps. No big deal. Still need to do my sanding, polyurethaning. I think it'll line up a little bit better. The glue's got to dry. We got to sand it off. We got to do the bottoms. We got to do the tops. I was trying to point as many imperfections in the wood as I can towards the bottom. I don't know if that's going to be a big deal or not. I'm probably going to call it a day and we'll pick up tomorrow. I'll end up doing the tops. What I want to do is make the measurement for the bottom, cut the bottom out, and then I could actually glue and staple the bottom in. And I'm not going to be able to do both the top and the bottom. I really should have turned this into a cabinet. That would have been a great idea, because now I'm just going to have a box with no way to get inside of it. Not a huge deal. I could probably do something with it later on. Alright guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright, so changed my mind. I'm gonna do these cuts tonight. Let's see which side looks better. This one's kind of smushed and warped. Alright, need to do my measurements. It's 18 and 7/8 on that side, and 18 and 15/16 on that side. Should be good. Moment of truth. Let's see. Oh, I didn't do the outside edges. Alright, because that's really gonna matter. I need to do this other one because I'm doing them both at the same time. Not perfect, but I guess it'll do. So my next measurement is going to be 29 and 15/16. Alright, it should be good. I can make adjustments as needed. Let's check this one. See what this one's gonna look like. This one's the better one. This is gonna be the top. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna do the top first. Yeah, it ain't square. That's okay. Not a big deal. I'm gonna make it fit. It's okay, I'm gonna make it fit. Game time, boys. Alright, how's this gonna go? It ain't. Gonna have to use longer nails for this one. Line one edge up. Course. Okay. Alright, let's just pull it out. I had a broken nail in my nail gun. This little sucker. I didn't notice there was a small one left. I ran out of 1¼ nails, so I put in my 2-inch ones, and looks like it sheared the last one off. But I'm gonna let this air compressor build up and then put the rest of the nails in. I'm not too displeased with that. It's got a couple gaps in it. Not much. A little tiny one. I mean, I'll probably sand that out. Hopefully I don't ruin the corners on it, but it ain't looking too bad. I'm gonna flip it over. Looks pretty good. Like I said, there's some gaps in the corner, but for the most part. And then I got that one cut. It's just gonna go on top of it. But since I don't have a hole on the side of it, I'm gonna have to put the wheels on first. Or if I use that as a top, then I'll have to put that on that and then nail it down after I sand it. So I'll figure something out. I'll let you know. I'm all done for today. I'm gonna clean up and that's about it. All right guys, thanks. All right, another day. Just got home from work and it's already dark outside. Gotta love this winter weather. Winter weather without the cold. Just darkness all the time. Hate it, love it. I don't love it. I don't know why I said that. It's been just about 24 hours since this is cured. More leaves falling off the tree. Okay, so what am I gonna do? I'm going to figure out what I'm gonna do next. So, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna close the box. I've made a change of plans. I'm gonna make a door for the box. I wasn't going to at first. I was going to strategically add the wheels and then the router. And I was thinking, oh, well, what if I want to take the router off the box or change the wheels out? Then I would have no way of doing so unless pulling the box apart or just adding a door. I was like, why would I build a box and not have a shelf inside of it? So I'm gonna close the box up and do a preliminary sanding, and then I'll end up cutting the door for it afterwards. So I'm gonna do that. And then I bought more nails as well. I ran out yesterday. Got 2-inch and 1.5. I'm gonna use the 1.5, but I bought 2-inch just in case for other projects. And a new bottle of glue, the Gorilla Glue Ultimate. Extended working time, waterproof. Get a new pad. This one I'm using these Gators 40 grit. I've got a way better idea than just putting this on the floor. Furniture moving dollies. That's the reason why I have these. idea. We've got a visitor. Dang, what is that thing? Looks like a June bug, but different kind of June bug. Oops. Oof. He's out of here. This thing's heavy. All right, another side done. This side. This side. I think I just did that side. Okay, I just need to flip it up. I had to empty this dust catcher out again. This thing gets full quick. Probably gonna use a piece of hand sandpaper to do the rest of these letters. Besides that, it's looking pretty good. Couple gaps. Not a big deal. I'm going to seal that with some of this plastic wood filler. I've never used this stuff before, but I'm going to put it in between where the cracks are and see if that'll help out. And then probably do the other side too. But I'm just putting some on my finger. Then I'm on this side now. Look, there's a little screw hole. I'll just get it. I'll wipe it in there. It actually wasn't that big, but like there's a little hole right there. And I'll come back and I'll sand that. And there's a little gap like right here. I'll take some and I'll just push it in that little gap. I'll go around and do that with the rest of these holes and any little imperfections. And then I'll come back, I'll sand it. I'll do these letterings tomorrow when I sand it. And I'll flip it over and I'll do the other side as well. I just want to get everything that I can now, and then we'll see what happens. Like I said, I've never used it before. I'm pretty curious how this works out. Cut, scrape, and sand away. Reseal tightly with lid after each use. Allow to dry approximately 2 to 6 hours for shallow fills of 1/8 of an inch, and 36 hours for deeper fills, greater than 1/4 inch. I guess it depends how big you're doing it, but I'm not doing anything bigger than 1/8 of an inch. So we should be good to sand this in 24 hours. All right, guys, I'll pick back up tomorrow. Thanks. Alright guys, see you tomorrow. Alright, it's been another about 24 hours. Come back to check on our plastic wood. That seems to be dry. I'm going to sand this top right here and see what it looks like. Oh, it's just cracking. I don't know how hard it's supposed to get. I'm gonna hit the top real quick and see if it's okay to do the rest of it. I mean, I assume it'd be okay. I don't know what else we'd be waiting for. It seems to be pretty dry. I mean, it's definitely more than the recommended wait time. I'm gonna go ahead and sand it, and then we'll see what it looks like afterwards. My 1 3/8 bits for European style hinges. European style. I got my sanding done for the wood filler, for the plastic wood. So, couple of things. I've already developed mixed opinions about the plastic wood. Now, I did mess up this project in multiple places, and I'm going to point out a couple things. If I was just going to paint this a certain color, then I think paint would mask a lot of the blemishes. Actually, it would mask all the blemishes, but that's not what I'm gonna do. I don't like the way painted wood looks. It just looks blasphemous. Like my corners now, like right here I used the wood filler. It is very, very smooth. So if I were to paint that, it would look flawless. Except right there, I sanded off a little bit of that corner. But the filler right there, that is a sharp corner. And there was a little piece that I filled in. You wouldn't even be able to tell if you painted it. There was another blemish right there. And then I put wood, some of that plastic wood in between this and sanded it. I mean, it doesn't look bad. Look at this corner. That looks pretty good too. And this one, was this the first one I showed you? I'm not sure. And then I put a little bit inside this hole, which is what this was. I know it was, this is actually going to be the bottom. It looks the worst out of all of the pieces, and the other side of the bottom actually looks better on the inside, but I flipped it the wrong way and cut it the opposite way, so this is actually the worst side of this one single board. But it was going to be on the bottom, so not too terribly worried about it. And this corner, I filled in the gap right here. It looks pretty good. I mean, it's not a perfect corner, but I mean, like I said, oh, and that's probably one of the biggest mess ups right here. Was this corner, it just didn't seat properly, and then this corner right here, that's going to be the worst of it. So that being said, I mean, this is probably going to be the bottom, and that's probably going to be the back, so this is probably going to be the front. Well, it doesn't look great right there either, to be honest, but let's see, that's definitely the bottom. So I guess that means either this side or this side is going to be the front. Honestly, I think this side looks better. But you know what? I'm going to cut a door out in between it. So if I cut a door, yeah, this side would still look better if I cut the door on this side. I need to measure that out because I want it cut a certain way. I want to be able to fit a shelf inside at an angle. And so I need to measure it so the corner width is the same dimensions as the width. And that actually might be my next step. As I turn it over, do the wood filler on the bottom, figure out how I'm going to cut it. So the door needs to be up, and then I can take my measurements. So let me show you a little closer. Now, this was one of the corners that actually needed wood filler. So you'll see that hole right there. Look how good this other side looks. And then this crack right here. Right there. I'm gonna sand this a little more and then go get my sandpaper, sand this. I need to measure this and then fill it up with wood filler, cut the door out, and then probably let that dry and do another sanding on top of that. I don't know, I guess we'll see what happens after that. Alright, that's gonna be where my door goes. Just need to make that cut. So I'm gonna do a little more sanding on the side. Try to take off those letters if I can. This is just some 80 grit. No slip grip. No slip. Alright, just about got that marking off. Still need to do this side. It's raining outside. It's already dark. And it's raining. I'm gonna blow some of this dust out before it starts raining too much. I need to close those doors before. Just trying my best to get some of that dust out. I got most of the letters off of that side. You can barely tell now. I mean, there's a little bit of black right there. Man, it is really on there. It's like you're focusing on some of these spots and kind of becomes wavy if you don't use the sanding disc or the orbital sander. I mean, I don't know. I might just leave it on there. It's not a really big deal. What I need to do is cut this hole. We could do the wood filler on the other side. Alright, I had to close that. Getting too much water in here. I got the blade all the way through. It's just these corners right here that need to be cut. But I got 3 inches all the way around. And then I'll have to take the door out and then sand the edges up. So we're on the right track. I don't even have a handsaw in here. It's just raining and raining and raining. Man, it is pouring. Woo! Man, if I go find a saw, I'm not gonna want to come back. I mean, dang, that is the next step. I would have to use a sawzall or a jigsaw. Doesn't really matter to me. I could do either one. I'm gonna give it a couple minutes and I'll either pick up here pretty soon or maybe another day. I'm not sure yet. All right, I'm not calling it quits yet. I'm always saying I'm calling it quits and picking up tomorrow. I'm doing the wood filler on the other side that I didn't get to. Just doing the edge right here. I just found it more productive to put a little bit on my finger and just kind of walk it down. walk in and push it and kind of rub it in. Just trying to work it into that corner. Oh, wrong finger. Alright, I got that side drying. I guess I'm gonna call it a day. I wanted to get that done, so when I come back tomorrow, I can sand that, cut the door out, sand the edges, and just a spoiler alert, I think what I'm going to do is I'm gonna char the wood and then polyurethane it. Now, I've done this before on a couple other projects where I would take a propane torch and I'll just burn the edges, maybe sand it down if it's too bad or too burned. I'm not going hog wild with it, but I'll give a good char on it and then polyurethane it. I like the way it looks. I'll have to cut another piece for the door. Well, the door and the shelf, if I decide to put a shelf in it, I actually might use one of my nicer pieces of wood, which I probably should have made this out of. A cheap piece of plywood is what I think I said before, 25 bucks, maybe 30 bucks. And then the nice wood that I have is like $50 a sheet, something ridiculous. My mind is changing about what I want to do every single day. So it's just a little bit at a time and then I'm just gonna stick with it. Just to give a recap, got the door almost all the way cut, sanded, did the plastic wood, almost used a whole tube. That I kind of like that stuff. Like I said, if I was just painting, that would conceal a whole lot of screw ups for sure. Like some of the holes that I did for the nails, you can see that one was too far out. It should have been knocked in. But like this one got covered up, and that was one of the imperfections. And it's all smooth as can be. And then that was the one that I filled that in. And then look, you can barely tell where the nails are. That's a little wavy right there, but that's the bottom sheet. That's the worst piece right here. And then that wasn't super straight, but after I take that door off, I'm gonna sand it down on the edges so it's kind of straight. But this is 3 inches from the edge. All right, guys, stick with me. The newest addition to the workshop is a Japanese style pull saw. At least I think it's Japanese. It doesn't say Japanese, it just says single edge pull saw. If you look up Japanese pull saw, it's gonna be one of these. I'm not sure if the Japanese came up with it or just the ones that I saw online just happen to be Japanese. About to say, it looked like this thing was used for a second, but I guess you can kind of angle it at different positions. It's not really made to collapse or anything like it were to fold. It doesn't look like. This would be it. So I bought this so we can make the cuts for this edge, because whenever you use your circular saw or reciprocating saw, it doesn't hit the very corner because it's round, obviously. So we can make those final cuts. Might actually be better if I leave this its back. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to sand this plastic wood off that we put last time. Didn't give you a great shot of that. This is the top that I was working on. I just wanted to show you the corners. So they're pretty sharp. I'm telling you, dang near perfect. No gaps, no nothing. I think this was the worst one before. Oh, I could hit that real quick. Looks like there's a tiny little thing on it. You can still kind of see the letters. I think it looks okay. It's definitely improved from when we first put it together. I mean, the corners are dang near flawless, so if you were to paint this, besides this, but that's going to be on the bottom. I'm not too worried about that. That's going to be the front, bottom, top, and our sides. So let's flip this on the back. You're going to have to excuse me for how dirty I look. I'm actually doing some painting on several projects over here. Painting, sanding. I got some free time while that's drying. Nice. I didn't want that to happen, being as it did. Let's see if we can clean up these edges. That was pretty clean. Ooh, I like this saw. It's nice. And then you can get, if you wanted to cut like a peg or something off, or like a plug, I mean, you can get on there and just kind of like bend it. It's almost like a fillet knife, but for wood. So I need to really give it a sanding. Edges. Broke a little piece of wood off right there, but it's okay. I mean, I'm not super worried about the inside. It looks pretty rough. You could definitely sand the inside of it if you wanted. I just not concerned about it, to be honest. Now I just need to make a door for it. I mean, I could do that later. Every time I think about polyurethane, I say lacquer. I need to find my polyurethane, and then we can probably give it a coat. I mean, I'd be happy with that. I'd say it'd be okay to go ahead and lacquer this thing. I mean, I'd say it's okay to go ahead and polyurethane this thing. I'm gonna make the door afterwards. I'm not even worried about that. I just want to do the polyurethane, mount the casters, and then set the router and get the router off of this bench, because I want to use the sawhorses that I have to cut that big sheet of wood, because as you guys saw earlier, that was a very irresponsible way for me to cut that first piece of wood, just because I screwed up a piece from not being able to hold that 8-foot wide piece of wood, which is pretty natural. My wingspan isn't even that long, so it's almost impossible to do on a portable table saw without having some sort of support for it. You know, I just didn't think about that. That'll be the last time I ever try to do that without something supporting the edges. I'm gonna go see if I can find that polyurethane, and then we'll go ahead and get started on that. And I'm using the same bare oil-based polyurethane gloss that I used for my other project, which you guys should check out, is my storage tote rack build. It's the same can, so I'm just repurposing it. Let's do it. Oh. We got the back done, and I'm actually gonna do 2 coats for this. You know what I'm gonna do is do the inside too. Now that I'm pretty sure I have enough. We'll give that 2 hours based on the directions of on the can, and then we'll come back and we'll do a whole nother coat. As it sits, looks pretty good. And then I completely did the inside too. I like that. I could live with that. Yeah, we'll have to let that dry, and I'll have to flip it over and then do the bottom. I probably actually should have done the bottom first instead of the top. So while the bottom has already dried, if it were to be the first one that dried first, I could have mounted the casters on it and then kind of used the wheels to move the whole box around. But I didn't think about that. It's still gonna take me several days. It takes 24 hours, I believe, for that polyurethane to completely cure. So we would have to wait a whole day for it to dry. And then I'd have to flip it over and do the bottom, unless you had a way of completely hanging the box by like a string or something, or a hook. Whatever it sits on, you can't paint. All right, we'll come back in 2 hours. Time to do a second coat. It's been about 2 hours now. So that's our second coat. Extra glossy, or gloss. It's looking good. Looks like the trailer, doesn't it? It's gonna match. Very good. These are gonna be the casters that go underneath it, 6.5 inches tall. We'll go ahead and let that dry, or I'll just come back later tonight and roll it back in. And we'll have to wait 24 hours before we flip it over. Give that enough time to completely dry. Then we can do the bottom. All right, looks good, feels good. Finally dried. That's flipped it over. There was just a little bit of grass and a couple bugs that landed on it when it was drying. Trying to get everything off of it that I can. And then before, I need to measure out and drill the holes for the casters. So I bought one of these new carpenter pencils, which you can take apart, and then it allows you to mark things deeper than if you were to have like a regular pencil or a grip. And it's like a mechanical pencil, and it's got a little sharpener on the end so you can sharpen it like that. Alright, so I got all the holes marked out for the casters at 1.5 inches all the way around from the edge. I really just needed 3/4 of an inch for the wood, and then the bolt head itself is about 1/2 inch. So that means I would have done 1/4 inch more than I really needed. And I think that'll give me enough space to actually turn that bolt. I mean, we are going to thread them from the inside out just so I don't have the shaft of the bolt inside the actual storage cabinet space. Nobody will even see it when it's on the bottom, but I'm going to drill those out first, and then we will do the polyurethane next. I'm going to pre-drill these holes. No, that ain't gonna work. I guess it is a 5/8. I mean 5/16, not 5/8. Got that done. Make sure all those bolts fit. I mean, they should. I already checked the one, but I mean... Oh, these aren't going to be long enough. Oh yeah, they will be. Barely. Time to polyurethane this top, and then we'll let that dry. Ooh, there's a bit of goop in there. That's probably the thickest polyurethane coat I've ever laid on anything. But that's okay. We will come back in 2 hours because that is the recommended dry time between coats, and then we'll do a second one. I'm gonna pour the rest of this back inside the can so we can save it for later. Alright guys, I'll see you then. A few minutes shy of 2 hours, I mean, from the last coat. Looks pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. A little sticky, but like I said, that was probably the thickest coat I've ever laid on anything. So, let's go ahead and pour a little bit more and do our second coat. There's a wasp over there. Oh, this thing's broken. Nice. Dang. This is graphic. Sorry guys, I had to show that. Oh, there's another bug over here. Anyways, alright, let's do the next coat of polyurethane. This floor's been polyurethane like 2 or 3 times already. I actually used the Varathane spar urethane is what I coated this trailer in. I like the way it looks. I'm gonna let that dry for, it says not to handle it up until like 12 hours, I think. We're just gonna leave it to dry till probably just tomorrow. And then we'll be able to put the wheels on it, flip it over, and mount the router up top. I'll have to drill holes for it, but I want it to completely dry so none of those wood shavings get stuck to the polyurethane. All right. Ooh, that's pretty dry. We could go ahead and mount these casters. All right, let's see how this works out. There's just enough room to kick out that plate. Never wanted to do that. All right, let's do another one. There is no Phillips head fitting on this thing anywhere, but these casters I bought off of Amazon, it came with a Phillips and a pair of gloves. Time to flip this thing over. Oh, great. Do that. Yep. Exactly why I didn't want to do that. Rolls around okay. Get it to a spot. I can't really unlock it very well. I guess you can use your hands. So, now we need to set the router on here. I'm actually gonna blow that off first. At this point, we need to grab a measuring tape and center this thing. It looks like the dimensions are good. It's at a good height because I'll be able to push my boards in like this, just like I wanted it. So the router came with, it looks like 1/4-inch bolts with a locking nut on the end of it. The bolt itself is only, these are 1.5-inch bolts. It's only a 1/2-inch clearance past the router, and we've got a 3/4-inch table. That's not gonna work. These bolts aren't long enough at all. Then I might have a 20-pitch threaded bolt in my other truck. So I'm gonna run out there and see if those will work, and I'll be right back. So we're lucky. Same pitch, and these are 3-inch. I found some bolts that I had in stock that were twice the size, and it is a 1/4-20. Nice. Didn't think I'd be able to pull that off. I'm gonna measure this thing twice and make sure it's lined up properly. All right, those will work. The bolts are a little longer than they really need to be. I only needed about a ½ inch more. There's a whole inch sticking out underneath there. But it'll work out. I don't really plan on having anything that high. I mean, I might not even put a shelf in here. I like that. How much space there is. I'd hate to constrict it with shelves. I'm always changing my mind about what I want. But I got the bolts screwed down. They're nice and tight. I just wanted to show you guys this real quick before I needed to change the battery on my camera. I cleared out this space, got the sawhorses out there ready for my next cut on the table saw. But this is nice. It looks good. I mean, even without the door on it yet, it looks pretty good. I'm very proud of the way that turned out. Very nice, very nice. Hey guys, welcome back. It's a new day. Alrighty, looking good. So, where did we leave off? It's been several days. Next thing we need to do is work on the door here. We're actually going to be reusing this hardware that I took off of an old cabinet door. We're going to be using these European hinges, and then probably this handle is still in good condition. The next step was to recalibrate that router. I'm going to take a look at that for a few minutes and then see what we're going to do next. I actually need to cut another piece of wood for the door. Alright, so I finally figured out the problem. The router was obviously not mounted all the way up into the base, and the way that you do that is you push this silver clip in and hold it down where it has those serrated edges on it, and then it'll allow you to shove the router all the way up into the base. And then you can actually adjust it to where the chuck is actually protruding above the base a little bit. When you have it like that and tying it up all the way, you can get a wrench on the very top of it now. So we're gonna go ahead and seat this back into the router table, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, now we can actually grab chuck from the top. There we go. We can loosen it. That feels way better. So I think I got it fine-tuned exactly where it needed to be. I just noticed that the wheel, whenever you push it up against that lip and move it along the wheel, it leaves like a tiny little lip on there. It seems like it's just not flush with that bearing. The routing bits that I purchased were pretty cheap. I could hit that with the sander and it would be gone. That's not really a big deal. The biggest deal was the curvature. So this would be against the flat part. I think that would work out pretty well. I mean, I think I have it set up exactly how it needs to be set up. This is just a presentation of how the hinge is going to sit. It's going to be flush with a piece of 3/4 like that. And then I need something to actually drill into. And then whenever I open it up, it's going to be like that. It's going to swing out and away from the woodwork. So I'm just going to put a piece of wood from top to bottom. I wouldn't even have to go all the way from the top to bottom, but I want to because I want to nail it from the top and the bottom to provide more stability for the actual door, because that's the only thing that's going to be holding it. And who knows how long this thing will last. 2 1/4 by 19 inches. Let me go ahead and try to cut a piece of wood.
I don't even know where I got this. I don't want to use this.
width-wise, all I gotta do is knock it in place. And I think that'll be snug. Need to go get my dead blow hammer. Got my dead blow hammer, 2 pounds, formerly owned by my father. This thing's been in the family for a while. You know what, I'm gonna sand this piece before I nail it on there. What is that? Oh, I forgot to put glue on there. Huh?
What, mate? Where? When?
I'll go get one. I'll be right back. If you can reach around that piece of wood, I know no one's gonna see it, but
So why does it matter?
just to protect the wood.
Because it's painted. Oh no, the world's in here. Bad piece. Oh. Alright. Don't drip.
No.
How big is it?
Good question. I don't know.
Are you gonna cut it again?
Yeah.
Hot dog or hamburger?
hot hamburger. Hamburger.
Okay.
Hot dog or hamburger? That's a good question. Very good question. You gotta start using that. Hot dog or hamburger? Alright guys, we'll be back in about an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Alright, back in business. That's what that looks like. You see there's a little bit of a gap up top right there, and that bolt was in the way. I really wanted to put nails down in the top of that board. That's okay. It's just gonna be an extra brace for the door. We'll just have to push everything off for another day. All right guys, hang in there. All right, it's another day. It hasn't quite been 24 hours. For the most part, it feels pretty good. Can you stop? Nasty. I'm actually gonna use the old door as a jig, or as at least a measurement device to measure where the hinge should be instead of buying a jig. What I did was I marked it at 5.5 inches. So we're gonna have 2 hinges, and then basically gonna bring this over. I'm gonna take this and drill that hole. Okay, well, it's too late to fix anything now. Already committed to it. So where's the hinges? got the edges routed, then you got the hinges drilled. Now all we have to do is go ahead and polyurethane this. It could use a sanding, and then we can polyurethane it. Looks like there was a hole inside the plywood, but for the most part it looks pretty good. We need to mount it. Then we can do some polyurethane. I need to find some screws for that. Got these holes pre-drilled. I'm actually going to use longer screws than I really probably should use, but I'm going to cut them down. Oops. Just in there snug. You don't ever want to use power tools where you can use hand tools, especially with your woodworking projects. All right, I got that marked. Yeah, that one went all the way through. That's okay. Not a big deal. Oh boy. Alright, we should be good. We'll come back in 2 hours and then we'll do another coat. Alright guys, we're back. We need to do the second coat. Probably just gonna put another coat in there. I mean, this is almost all gone. I'm gonna throw this can away after this anyways. We'll just let that dry. We'll come back and check it in 2 hours. What do you guys think? Looking good? Coming together? I mean, I like it. I'm happy with it. You can barely tell all the screw ups that I had. All the little imperfections. You probably wouldn't even be able to tell unless I pointed them out to you. Alright, we got the handle mounted. I'm gonna go ahead and conclude my video there. If you guys like this video, don't forget to check out some of my other videos that I have on my channel. I plan on doing several more projects just like this in the future. Thanks to all of you that have been following along with my channel. I appreciate all of you, and I'm very honored to have anybody watch anything that I create. Alright guys, and like always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Bye guys.